What's up, sports fans? It's your man D back. Speak your mind, sports talk. All right, guys. Sorry I'm a little late. I want to get this off. Maybe you guys can get your picks in. I'm a little late on this. I'm gonna try to get this show off a little earlier so you guys get some picks in before these games starts. Of course, we got a 2:30 game today. And so we'll jump on that one first, just in case y'all want to throw some quick picks in there. But I got my man Two Mobs gonna come up here and talk about this with me. I got the link in the chat for you, Mob, when you come up here. So guys, let's jump right in here because not much time. The Memphis Grizzlies. We're gonna start off with the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Utah Jazz. And Utah opened up at 4.5, and the current is 5. So, Memphis Grizzlies, guys, again, let me see here. Memphis Grizzlies have been playing well. They're a good young squad, but a lot of what they do in their system depends on Jackson, and Jackson just went down. He tore his meniscus, so I don't really expect Memphis to be competing as strongly as they were. That's a big blow for Memphis. They actually just got Jackson back, and that improved their team overall, and that's a big blow for Memphis. So I think that's going to hurt them and their chances in this game versus the Utah Jazz. Utah just had a close win over the New Orleans Pelicans. Brandon Ingram just missed that shot. So I like the Jazz in this game. If you just bet the line, maybe throw in a parlay, I would take the Jazz in this game. 4 points, actually 5 points is the current. So Utah winning by 6 is probably a safe bet. I think they'll cover on that. And the total points on that game is 219.5 currently. And I don't think that many points will be scored. Again, Jared Jackson, in this last game, Ja Morant struggled from the three-point line. He shot horribly, and Jackson's one of their better three-point shooters, and he's gone now. So I would say go under on that. For my gambling guys, and I'm trying to keep it as basic as possible because I'm still learning here. To Kerm in the building, what's good for you with your boxing monster? I'm here for the Teofimo passion. Basketball, boxing monster, basketball. All right, guys. So, so that's what I got for the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Utah Jazz. Moving on, the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Washington Wizards. And real quick, let me see what's up with my guy. Should be jumping on here soon. All right, so there we go. So Memphis Grizzlies versus Philadelphia 76ers versus the Washington Wizards. Chopsticks in the building. What's good, Chopstick? Appreciate you coming through, fam. All right, sorry about that. All right, guys. So in this matchup here, Philadelphia versus Washington, man, Washington Wizards have been playing terribly. They haven't won anything in this bubble, but that spread, they opened up at 10.5, and then they have it's currently still at 10.5, and I see they have 229 on the total points, and nah, man, definitely under. And I don't think it's funny that Philly's playing very well, guys, and Washington aren't playing that well. But here's something very interesting. These two teams matched up against each other have actually had some very tough games. Strange, sort of like years when you get boxing monsters, Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins playing each other, and Dallas could be doing spectacular, and Washington's no good, but they'll go in there and beat Dallas and vice versa. And there's something going on like that with the 76ers and the Wizards. So I wouldn't trust that 10.5. I wouldn't trust that at all. Just guaranteeing that the 76ers beat the Wizards. Although the Wizards are so horrible and the 76ers appear to be on the upside, I wouldn't trust that 10.5. I would tell you guys that just simply betting the money line for the 76ers to win is cool. I'm not sure about the whole spread there. Definitely under that 229. So that's how I see that. Definitely under on that 229. So that's how I see that's the way I see it on the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Washington Wizards. So Denver Nuggets versus the San Antonio Spurs. Denver opens up at -5, but some information has come along and they're currently down to -3. Now, it could have something to do with the injuries. Will Barton, Gary Harris, and Murray have not been healthy this season. So they've set out of a few games. And let me check right now, guys, at least from what I have on Denver Nuggets injuries. So they got Gary Harris suspected to be out. So Gary Harris will not play again tonight. Will Barton, as far as it looks like he will also not play. And Jamal Murray is game time decision. So with that being said, that probably has a lot to do with why it's currently now down to 3, I would think, because those two guys are going to be out. And even if they do, Jamal Murray being at a game time decision, even if they do, you don't know how strong he's going to be in this game. And he's actually a big factor. Michael Porter Jr., however, has been playing well. So when I think about that, I would say, yeah, Denver covers on this. I mean, they're 31-3 against the spread. Me personally, I would say that they cover on this. The total is 227. I definitely think it goes over that. I think that's easy. So for the Denver Nuggets versus Spurs, I would pick Denver. I think that they do cover, and definitely over on that 227. I think Denver's been playing well enough. Spurs is not really offensively clicking and such. Prime Fighting Champions in the building. Kerm, what's good with you? Appreciate your soccer training club. Gun Rights Mafia. Hey, Gun Rights, I put the link in the chat. Hold on, let me put it in again. Yeah, so you can jump up here. That's my guy. That's my Vegas Connect, guys. Get him up here until D. Jefferson get a little more proficient at this, the lingo for you guys and everything. So, all right, guys, I put it in there again. Maybe that'll help you get in. But yeah, appreciate you guys coming in. All right, so Kern says San Antonio been playing well recently. Yeah, they have, but listen, San Antonio, I don't know what you mean, Kern, when you say playing well. I mean, this is the bubble. I'm not impressed by San Antonio. I'll tell you this right now. Even coming outside of this bubble, but who I am impressed by is Denver. And I think the better, these guys, I think that Gary Harris and Will Barton could play now, but they're resting them up. These 8 games for Denver are, not really too important. They're trying to win some games, I'm sure, but they're trying to figure out how they're going to run those rotations going into this playoffs. Whereas San Antonio is struggling to get in. But Denver, just the depth that they have, that's what, that's why I think they easily cover this 3. Currently, it's at 3. They easily cover. They got good depth on the team. Even without Will Barton and Gary Harris, they won't be in. Jamal Murray's questionable. I still think that they have plenty enough. Okay, so they're definitely going to cover the 3. 227 for sure. They're going to put up more than that. So 100% I will go for the over on that one. Let me see. But still not letting you in? I don't know, man. Popovich can coach anybody. Yeah, he's a special coach, guys. So let's move on because I want to give my betting people out there enough time to, I guess, put in their picks and such. So the next game, guys, the Oklahoma City Thunder against the Lakers. They play at 6:35. And those last three games we went over, Memphis Grizzlies and Utah, they're starting at 2:35. So if you guys want to get your picks in or whatever, probably better hustle and do that. The Philadelphia 76ers and the Nuggets, those two games starts at 4:05. And this Oklahoma City Thunder and Los Angeles Lakers. Lewis and I are doing basketball live with Lewis and Dee tonight. So we're going to do commentary for this game. And let me see what you say there, Gun Rights. Put your email in. I don't know why it's secure. I don't know, man. I'm going to have to check out some settings or something. I don't know, man. I was probably trying to keep somebody out. Gun Rights. I don't know. But yeah, just send the email. I'll send it to you in the email. All right, guys. So anyway, Oklahoma City Thunder and the Los Angeles Lakers. This one, guys, opens up at -6, the Lakers. Now, no way, no day would I say pick the. This is an interesting one. Lakers opening up at 6. First and foremost, I'm not too sure if they cover. I'm not too sure if they cover that. Actually, I think that Oklahoma City Thunder could potentially steal this game from them, and it's going to go down to the wire. 217. I would definitely think that there's going to be more points scored than that, for sure. Injuries. Rajon Rondo, let me check the injury report on this, guys, on the Lakers and the Thunder, because that's going to matter depending on who we got coming. Let me see real quick, guys. So the Lakers, Dwight Howard, game time decision, he'll probably, and Rajon, we already know that he's not going to be. So it's only Dwight Howard for the Lakers. And then for Oklahoma City Thunder, let me see. Ferguson expected to be out, so he won't play. Muscala won't play, and Dennis Schroeder is out until the 9th. So that's gonna be a big one, guys. All right, so with Dennis Schroeder down, you still have Kate Gilchrist and Chris Paul, but Dennis Schroeder being down, Dean Jackson, that link is specifically for one guy. I'm not gonna. Do I have your email already, Gun Rights? Let me see. If I do, if not, send it to me on my phone. Let me see. Yeah, but yeah, this is not that type of show today. So, guys, for the Lakers Clippers game, this is interesting now. This is actually quite interesting because Dennis Schroeder not being in the game, and I remember he caught that. I think the Lakers they might cover that. They might cover that. Dennis Schroeder is not only good offensively, he's a good defensive guard. And he has good eye on the ball. So Lakers, I don't know. Definitely still, I think it goes over the 217. I would definitely bet the Lakers on the money line. I would say that just point for point. The spread is where I'm really concerned. I don't know if I would bother with that spread. It's still kind of shaky. But I do know that Dennis Schroeder would be a big part of the Oklahoma City Thunder upsetting the Lakers if you wanted to pick the dog. So I wouldn't pick the dog here. Definitely pick the Lakers. Over 217. That's probably about as much as I can give you on that game, guys, or either not bother with it. Did you? Oh, sorry. All right. So moving on. Toronto Raptors versus the Orlando Magic. So this opens up at -5 Toronto. I don't think the Orlando Magic has anything for Toronto. Nothing. I think Toronto's defense is too much. And I see that there's 45 to 55% on the over-under. 222.5. That's a lot of points. Toronto is playing excellent defense. No, that's a lot of points. So I'm with the 55% on that. If you were to bet that, I would definitely go under on that 225. Also, Toronto, I do expect them to cover -5. Currently, it's at 7.5. Actually, guys, I just looked at that. Now, the current is 7.5. Now, that gets interesting. I'm not sure if they cover on the 7.5. That I'm not sure. I don't know, guys. Maybe that's a game that you don't want to touch. Throw it in the parlay on just the money line, maybe. I don't know. That's kind of hard with that spread. Toronto's been feeling it, though, and if they get hot from that three-point line, they could cover. I wouldn't touch it. That's just me. Too tight. I would pick Toronto on just a straight bet, and definitely I would go under. I don't think it's going to get to that 222.5. So for all my gamblers, that's all I got for you on that one, guys. But Toronto will definitely win that game. Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics. So Boston Celtics are coming off that tough loss against the Heat. Not only do I think that they're going to beat the Nets tonight, Kemba Walker is out in this game, though. But Karis LeVert, game time decision, and Joe Harris on a game time decision, right? So here's the thing with that, guys. Joe Harris has a back situation, and he's a three-point shooter, right? So, sorry about that. Hold on 1 second, guys. Yeah, what's up? What's up, bro?
That's me.
You're Dean Jackson? No, you don't have to do that. Just come back as Dean Jackson. My bad. I didn't know that was you. I didn't know who Dean Jackson was. Okay. All right. Come back in. All right. Sorry, guys. That was my guy Mob that he was trying to get in the whole time. So, basically going back to this matchup with Brooklyn Nets, and we'll shoot. It's 217. So for all my gamblers out there, we still have enough time. I'm going to get Mob to give you guys his input on my pick from the gambling perspective of things. But this last game, Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics. Okay, here he is. Yeah, don't worry about the camera mic and all that. Just keep the mic you gotta open up, but the camera you can close that one out. But it's gotta say connected too, so it still say disconnected. All right, guys. So Boston Celtics open up at 9. Now that's a lot of points, especially with Kemba Walker not playing. That's a lot of points. Wanamaker he's going to have a lot more time on the floor, and he's been pretty solid, but he's not going to offer you that offense that Kemba Walker is going to offer you. So he can handle the ball. He can handle the ball extremely well. Mob, for some reason, it's saying disconnected. It won't connect you. It says disconnected. So I see you back there, but it's saying disconnected. So Wanamaker can handle the ball, and he'll even hit you some points behind the line there every now and then. but he's not a huge offensive player like Kemba Walker. That guy, what's up, Brian Harkin? What's up with you guys? Appreciate you coming through. So I wouldn't expect that. I wouldn't touch that spread there. That 9 points. I wouldn't battle that. Now, here's something else, though, guys. You might want to see it gets kind of confusing because I'm just learning this. Me personally, from my basketball analytics, because Kemba Walker's gone, I think it's dangerous. But when you look at Boston against the spread, they're 37-25. So they actually do pretty well against the spread. And with a struggling team like the Brooklyn Nets, that, to some of my gamblers out there, that may seem like a safe bet. Now, the current number total is 225.5. They're definitely going to score more than that. I would stake a lot of money that they bet more than 220. I mean, that they score more than 225. So I would take the over on that. Definitely bet the line if you're just going to bet straight. Put this team in a parlay or something, Boston over Brooklyn. I would definitely do that, just straight on the line. That spread, I don't know. Kemba Walker being hurt, that's kind of a tough ask. You don't know. Brooklyn could hang around in there. Ultimately, Boston should beat them by 8 or 9 points easy. But to go over that, I'm not sure. I wouldn't be too comfortable on that point spread. Taking Boston on the spread, taking them straight, maybe. So give it a couple of seconds, and I'll give Marv some time to get in here, see what you guys talking about in the chat. Soccer Training Club said, D, who do you consider the top 3 current coaches from your point of view? Nick Nurse, Doc Rivers, and I don't know, man. Behind Nick Nurse and Doc Rivers, there's actually a lot of good coaches. But I think that those two sit at the top because, first and foremost, what Nick Nurse have done over there in Toronto with losing Kawhi Leonard. And they're still actually in contention, guys. So you lose a guy like Kawhi Leonard, you wouldn't even expect the team to even be in contention. And Nick Nurse definitely has them in contention and playing very well doing it. But you know what? I do have my third coach. My second coach definitely would be Doc Rivers because I think he's the only one battling Nick Nurse for Coach of the Year, in my opinion, what he's done over there with the Clippers. And people say, well, he's got all of that talent. And it's not that simple because Doc Rivers has that talent, but he has to deal with that talent with Kawhi Leonard being on minute restriction and load management, Paul George facing his injuries and dealing with that rotation. You got Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams that was out for a while. So you got 4 guys, Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard on and off the court, but he's still finding a way to have that team second in the Western Conference. Outstanding coaching job. And the third coach came to mind. It's got to go to Eric Spoelstra. Over there for the Miami Heat, the way he has those guys playing, that's my dark horse team in the league. And another thing about Eric Spoelstra, I put him there with Nick Nurse. They lost a massive talent. See, Miami Heat was stripped from a massive talent. Yeah, LeBron James leaving, Dwayne Wade getting old, and Spoelstra's found a way to keep that team together, keep that team competing. And right now, they look amazing. So that's what I'll give to you, Soccer Training Club. I think that those are the 3 best coaches in the league, Spoelstra, Doc Rivers, and Nick Nurse. Those are my top 3 current coaches. I mean, Greg Popovich is probably the best coach in the league overall. I don't think anyone's going to question that. But the top 3 coaches right now, I would say Nick Nurse, Doc Rivers, and Eric Spoelstra. So hope that helps out a little bit. I would laugh if the Magic beat the Raptors today. Yeah, that would be an upset. I'm going to be tuning in more on your NBA content. Who you got going to the finals? For the Forerunners Prime Fighting Champions, I believe that the LA Lakers and the Milwaukee Bucks should be the forerunners. As I just said about the Miami Heat, I have them as my dark horse team on the Eastern Conference, but the other two teams that's looking good to go to the Eastern Conference Finals are, of course, the Boston Celtics and the Toronto Raptors. So forerunners would be Milwaukee Bucks, and then you have the Raptors, the Celtics, and the Heat that are potentials for the East. Forerunners, the Bucks. On the West, forerunners are the Lakers, and of course, the potential and the Clippers. And then I got Denver Nuggets and Portland Trailblazers. I had them, but they're not doing so well. Now, they did win last night against the other team that I think may rival them. So we would say Portland Trailblazers, Houston Rockets, Denver Nuggets, and Clippers on that West Coast. Those are teams that I think are potential, but I got to give Lakers being the forerunner. So Lakers, Bucks, and then we look at all of those other teams that could come in there and upset some things. You know what I mean? Prime fighting champions. Well, Miami had LeBron. They lost to the Sixers. Yeah. Yup, no doubt. Just got in. What is the subject? Basketball, Brian. Basketball. He said basketball is not my sport. I know, Brian, you're the big boxing fan. Raider, what up? What do you think about the Lakers covering 5 points against the Thunder? I mean, I was just talking about that game. It's 5.5. Yeah, I think that, I don't know, man. I was just talking about it. I definitely think they covered the over on the 217.5 Raider. I definitely think that they cover that, and it would be a decent bet to put in for on a parlay or something, just a straight bet on the line. But I'm not sure about that money line. I'm not sure about that spread, fam. That one, because Chris Paul and them been playing really hot. So, we would expect the Lakers to win, but the OKC Thunder, that's a team that's going to cause some teams trouble. I don't think that they're going to get past the second round, no, but that's a team that may get in the second round, may cause a team to be put out, you know what I mean? That wasn't supposed to be put out. That guy in the building, what's up with you, my man? Not bad, Brian. Mine either. Got my gamble head on. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I hope you guys win, just give you guys a little insight, at least from the way I see the game. What's up, D. Jeff? What's up, France? Lakers all day. I feel you, France. I believe they should take care of business tonight. I'm just not sure about that spread. Greg Popovich, absolutely. How far do I see the Rockets going? Like I said, Andre, I got the Rockets in there as one of those potentials, but the Rockets lack defense and they lack size down in the hole. Ultimately, you're getting bullied on the glass, which they did actually. The Rockets did a good job against the Bucks. I think they outscored. They 64-38 was the rebounds, which is surprising because you got Lopez and Middleton and Giannis and those tall, lengthy guys. But generally, that's not what you see from the Rockets. And here lately, they've been playing decent defense, but they're not the best defensive team. One of my biggest concerns with the Rockets and going all the way is Mike D'Antoni does not change over. There are times when you have to stop the run and gun. James Harden he does a beautiful job at getting into the lane, flailing those arms. And if he doesn't get the layup, he'll get to the line. Covington can slash the lane. When Eric Gordon gets back, he can slash the lane. I don't like when the Rockets get into this thing in the playoffs, and they generally do it in the playoffs, where it's this run and gun style offense. And then Tony refuses to change up. If they're running cold, he refuses to change up. It's like live or die on that three-pointer. And, he's got to be able to adjust as a coach. I think bad coaching a lot of times is what keeps the Rocket from going to that next level. So second round is as far as I see those guys going, Andre. Second round, that's as far as I see the Rockets going. Ron Cowan, what's good with you, my man? Appreciate you coming through, France. I'm I'm good. Glad to see you, bro. Okay. The Rockets will come up short like always. Yeah, I agree with that, Chopstick. And I believe that's one of the problems in Westbrook's decision making. You will have to depend on Westbrook to do the things we expect him to do. All right, guys. So real quick, I got my man on here, my Vegas Connect. So I'm gonna run back through all of these games, and he's gonna share a little of the betting side aspect of it. I gave you guys my thoughts on it, and then I'll let him give you guys his thoughts on it. So, Mob,
Can you hear me?
yeah, can hear you loud and clear. Thanks for joining me, bro. So
Yep.
the first game was and we're gonna run through these real quick because they got about 5 minutes to put their picking on this game. Memphis Grizzlies versus Utah open up at 5. Currently, it's at -5. It opened up at -4.5. Currently, it's at -5. Right. The number on that game is 219.5, and I said definitely under on that game. And Utah should cover the spread because Jaren Jackson just went down, and he's efficient score for Memphis Grizzlies. What advice would you give somebody on how to bet on this game with that information?
Well, pretty much the first game, if you betting the line, you're pretty much betting that the Utah Jazz is going to beat the Memphis Grizzlies by more than 5 points. So that means that if you bet the line, they have to cover that 5 points. So it has to be 6 or more points total with the ending score in order for you to hit that line on that game. Now the 219 is pretty much the over and under. So you betting a total amount of each team's total points combined together. So depending on how much those two teams are averaging a game, that can give you the determination on if you should bet it over or under. So D is saying that betting it under, so that means that they're probably averaging less than that 219 if you combine those two scores together.
Yeah, well, if you look at what the teams are averaging, more or less the injury, and so I think the injury that took place with Jackson is going to affect what they usually score, and that's why I believe that it's going to go under. I'm not sure if they calculated that or not, which they probably did, but Jared Jackson tore his meniscus, so he's gone for the season, and Tyus Jones won't be back either. So I don't think that they get that much of a score. But I want to know real quick, because they got about 4 minutes, how would you bet, or what would your advice to be on betting this particular game? Currently at -5 and 219. What would you say?
Well, because Jackson is out, I would say go with the Jazz because the Grizzlies is missing a key entity within that game right there. So they're not going to be putting up as much points as that they normally do. Plus, with that injury, since it is a key injury, I would go with the Jazz. And if you look at the opening line, it was at 4 points. So if it moved to 5, that means that a lot of people was already putting their money on the Jazz. So because it moved from 4 to 5, that means that they pretty much given the Grizzlies an extra point because they're expecting for the Grizzlies to need that extra point based off of the injury of Jackson.
Okay. And so you would bet it straight? Would you try to put this game in on a parlay or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, you could put it on a parlay and you will be in the green if you bet it money line or the line itself. But you already know you get paid more if you bet the line as opposed to the money line.
All right, guys. So there you go. First game up real quick. We're going to slide to the second game, Philly versus Washington. And it opened up at -10.5, and it's still at -10.5. Now, Philly doesn't really do well against the spread, but Washington's playing horrible. Now, my advice earlier to the people, and it's at 229.5 Mob. So my advice earlier, at least I don't know this like you, I want to get it from your perspective, is that 10.5 is a lot of points because Philly and Washington have always had tough games here in their past 10 or 11 games. And although this team is doing better much better than Washington. It's one of those teams that one of those combinations that you get is they always have tumultuous games. So I think that 10.5 is kind of dangerous, but 229 definitely under on that. Washington's not playing well. I think that's too many points. And that was my advice. But what would you think about a game, Philly versus Washington, knowing that they have this somewhat tumultuous battle all the time? What would
My
your
advice is that I would stay away from this game because, like you said, it's too many points. But if you are gonna bet, I would take the points with the Magic. You feel what I'm saying? I would actually take the 10.5 points. So bet the underdog if you are gonna bet this game. But since it's at 10.5 points, there's just too much points in order for me to put my money on it. But if you are thinking about putting your money on this game, either bet the money line. That's just basically saying that you're betting the 76ers to win outright. Now, the payout is not going to be that much because it's at minus 650, if I'm not mistaken. But if you are going to bet that line, I would just take the 10.5 points because it's a more safer bet as opposed to you taking the Sixers to beat them by more than 10.5 points, which they would actually have to beat them by 12 points or 10 points plus a free throw, which will give you like about 11 points. So if you are going to bet the line, take the underdog. If you're not going to bet the line, take the money line, but you're going to have to put up more money unless you want to put it on a parlay, which you're going to have to add about another 2 to 3 teams in order to make that ticket significantly pay out.
Gotcha. All right, guys. So there you got it. There you have it. Sorry for the Philadelphia Washington game and Denver Nuggets San Antonio Spurs opened up at 5, but there was a shift on that line, guys. It was a move on that line. It's now -3. Okay, 227 total. And I'm gonna tell you now, no way, no day do they hit 227. Forget about it. I would definitely, they go under that. I'm sorry. No way, no day they go under that. Forget about it. They're going to score more than 227. I would say 100% bet the over on that. That was my opinion on that, right? But Jamal Murray may check in this game. And so I think 3 points, I think that's safe. I think they cover 3 points. But what would be your advice on this? I really don't have much as far as injury. I do know Gary Harris and Will Barton will still be out, but Michael Porter Jr. and Jeremy Grant are playing amazingly, and Jamal Murray should be checking into this game. So with that being said, they can afford to rest Will Barton and Gary Harris with the way that Michael Porter Jr. has been playing, and Jeremy Grant. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that they cover the 3. What would your advice be for the betting fans on Denver versus San Antonio?
I would take the over, like you said, but I would also take Denver, the line or the money line. You pretty much safe on that one because Denver been playing pretty good basketball. So either if you take the 3 points, the -3 points with Denver or the money line, them is 2 good bets that I would advise for the public to take if you're trying to cash out. But that's a very low number. So you want to catch the games with very low numbers. Those are pretty much good games to bet on as long as that you got a good breakdown of what the team is doing at the moment. So I would take the 3 points or the money line on this game for Denver.
All right, and okay, so Oklahoma City Thunder and the LA Lakers. Now, to me, guys, this game is interesting because OKC have been playing lights out. Chris Paul, but Dennis Schroeder's out. And initially, I had the thought that, maybe Lakers may not cover. But then when I looked up and I saw that Dennis Schroeder won't be playing, that's a part of that. In my opinion, what makes the Oklahoma City Thunder so special is the fact of that 3-punch guard they have going. Michael King, Shea Gilchrist, Chris Paul, and Dennis Schroeder, right? And real quick, guys, What's up, Gideon? I see you backstage. Actually, I just put the link in the chat so my guy Mob here could get up. This is a different kind of show, Gideon. It's just about odds and predictions. So he's a guest for a reason because he has the gambling aspect of it. So you're always welcome, bro, but just not this show. But anyhow, with that 3-guard punch. I think that's what made them so effective against a lot of these teams. And when you lose that, not to say that Shea Gilchrist and Chris Paul can't do their thing, but it's the styles, it's the matchups, it's the what they offer that the other doesn't. Shea Gilchrist is probably a better slasher in the lane. Dennis Schroeder's probably a little smarter with the ball or what have you. And missing that third element, I think the Lakers may cover. So I say the Lakers cover the 6. I mean, actually, the current is 5.5. So I say they cover the 5.5. 217.5 is the total. Definitely go over that. And I say the Lakers a safe bet. What would be your advice for the gamblers on with that information and any that you may have on this game as well?
Well, me, as far as the line, I'm a little bit different. I'm a little bit skeptical because in the last 3 games, the Lakers only covered the spread one time. Money line, they're 2-1 since the actual season started. So they're 2-1 on money line. So they've been pretty much in the green as far as winning the game outright. They only lost 1 out of their last 3 games. So I would bet the money line. You feel me? As far as the point spread, because they're 1-3, I don't know about the point spread. That's kind of shaky to me. I would stay away from the point spread. But as far as the over, I do believe it might go over. But the safest bet for me is just to take the money line in this game.
Okay. All right. Y'all heard it from the man. Okay. Next game. Toronto, Orlando opened up at -5. But hey, guys, got a huge shift. Current is 7.5. So that looks like a big shift to me if it opens up at 5 and it jumps to 7.5. And the current is 225 now. 225 is a score that these two teams could go over or under on. It's really tough to say, but we need to find out why they had that shift. Do you know anything or have you heard anything about why they open at 5 and then it goes to 7.5? Do you look at that as a significant shift in points?
Well, let me tell you this. When the point spreads open up and they shift like that, so it was open up at 5, 5.5, and it moved to 7. So that's giving you the indication that a lot of people already put their money on that open line on Toronto. So it shifted because they're trying to give more points to the underdog to try to shift people to bet that way more. So that's the reason why it went up to 7, because it's so much of a lopsided betting as far as the public betting on Toronto as opposed to the opposing team. So they're just moving that line to try to get more people to bet with the underdog so they can, even out their payout. So my advice is, because it moved to 7, I would still kind of lean towards Toronto in the money line. I would stick, if you didn't take that 5.5 points, I would stay away from the line, being that it's at 7 right now, because all they're trying to do is to persuade bettors to bet more against Toronto. That's the reason why they gave the underdog more points. They're trying to persuade the people to bet that way more, because they see that it's a lopsided bet as opposed to the open line that opened up at 5. So all that's giving you the indication is that the public was rolling with Toronto when it opened up at 5. Now, since they don't have many bets on the underdog in that game, they gave the underdog more points to persuade people to bet that way a little bit more. So I would just stay away from the line in general and just bet the money line for Toronto.
Right, yeah, because I think they still as well. I do think that they will cover. They will cover 8 anyway. I mean 7.5. I think they'll cover that anyway. Plus They 36-27 against the spread, so they're looking pretty good. I would stay away from, me personally too, that over under, because that's pretty tight, 22.5. What do you think about that?
Like you said, it can go over or under, depending on how Toronto comes out. Like I said, this is a game that everybody's expecting them to win. So, they might blast them out the gate, you feel me? Or it might be close as far as the overs and unders. But just remember, the overs and unders is gonna be around that if it's close like that, it's gonna be around that over and under total mark if
You
it's
know,
close.
that's for sure, man. And I'm telling you something, it's uncanny the way those books, they get really close.
Yeah, that's
It's
no doubt about it.
uncanny how
That's why I
close they
said
get. When
it's
this
pretty
back
much a
goes that
50-50.
long.
In my perspective, it's 50-50 on that over and under. I mean, that's something that's like a coin toss right there. So when it's a coin toss and it's so close like that, I would advise y'all to stay away. That's just if y'all trying to keep your money into the green, stay away from that if it's close like that. But the money line is the safest bet. And being at the fact that it's 7 points, you should still get a good bet on the money line. Like I said, the payout is not as much as you betting the line, but you still will get some money right there.
Safer bet. Probably
Yeah,
if
safer
they,
bet.
and it's probably a good bet you might want to mix up in there on one of your parlays or something, maybe a multi uh multi
Yeah, let me tell them this. When you bet in the money line, to get a bigger payout, like Dee said, you would actually want to create a parlay. So when you got a lot of money lines, try to look at some like about 3, maybe 4 or 5 solid games that you can mix up on your parlay to make your payout a little bit more when you're rolling with the money line. Because y'all got to understand, when it's a gap like that, and they're looking at, when you got a team that look like they're gonna beat them outright, usually you're looking at like a minus 200 area. So that's about 200 to win every $100. But when you mix them up, you will get a bigger payout if you got more money lines on there as compared to point spreads. So
Good advice. Good advice, my man. All right, guys. So this is the basic stuff. It might seem advanced now, but I'm just learning myself. So I'm going to cover the basics, just something to help you guys earn a little cash, and you don't have to bet a lot. See, we're talking about parlays. You can bet $5 and bet 5 different teams, and you might win big or only lose $5. So we're going to help you guys have some fun with this. And now the last game is the Brooklyn Nets versus the Boston Celtics. Now the Boston open up at 9. Now they got a little information in there, and it dropped down to 8.5, which is I wouldn't say an alarming drop, but Boston Celtics just came off of a rough loss against the Miami Heat. Now I think that the thing is, I think it went down, Mob. The only reason I think it went down was Kemba Walker's not going to play. So that's a difference, but I'm not sure how significant, because here's the thing. They're going to lose some offense when you go from Kemba Walker to Wanamaker, but you're not going to lose but so much, because Wanamaker can score, but then he's going to feed the ball more to Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, and Jason Tatum and those guys. And they've been doing really well. Also, Enes Kanter has been killing it with the offensive glass when he's coming off the bench. So I don't know, man. 8.5 might be a good bet. I don't know. And they definitely go over to 25.5. I think they definitely go over on that.
well, this game is basically telling me that since the Celtics lost, of course, your average mindset is going to, persuade you to bet against them. This is the public that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about you sharp bettors out there. I'm just talking about the public's point of view, because that's how Vegas make their money. They looking at what the public is going to bet, and they're going to try persuade. They looking to cash out on the percentage that's the highest, because that's the more money that they gonna win. So they're not really worried about the small percentage on whoever bets, that small percentage team. So since it was at 9 points and it dropped to 8.5, that's just basically telling me that a lot of people was betting against the Celtics when that opening line came in. Now that it dropped a little bit, it's kind of like evening itself out, because like you said, if Kemba's not playing, of course more people is going to want to bet against him, being that they're thinking that Kemba Walker is an important factor in this game. But because they took the loss, it's already given the public's mindset that they're not going to cover this game. So with me, I would just take the money line in this game for the Celtics just to win outright. I would stay away from those points. I don't like taking any points that in basketball that's over about 7 or 8 points. It just doesn't work out good. The odds is not in your favor. But I would take the money line, and I would definitely probably take the over. That's just my perspective of it. You feel me?
All right, well, that's what we're going to take. See, we got the 1-2 punch here. I got the basketball analytics side. We got the gambling man in Vegas, basketball. He knows basketball too, but he knows more of the gambling side of it. That's what we're giving you here, a little duo today. And I appreciate you, man, for coming up here to help me out with this. I'm pretty sure we got some good comments. My man Brandon Nicholson says, I'm just sitting back learning from this stream, Dee teaching us about gambling. Don't forget Mob, D and Mob. I'm just talking about basketball and giving my opinion, but he's breaking down the insights. So it's a combination, guys. So take everything you hear if you're going to gamble your money, but listen to this guy when it comes to how to place those bets, because he's going to tell you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but as far as the breakdown goes, y'all, as far as the breakdown of the fundamentals of the game and how the game is played, as far as the game of basketball, Dee, will give you some good advice as far as, the players and what they doing on the court and everything. But I'm just giving you an insight on how to bet your money smart, depending on mathematics. Because at the end of the day, we got good teams, we got bad teams, but you still got to have some type of mathematics in your repertoire in order to beat the casinos, because that's what it comes down to. That's how the bookies make the lines. They base it off of probability and the mathematics of the game. So you just got to add, like he said, it's a 1-2 punch. He give me advice on the actual games itself, and I give him advice on the actual lines on how the bookies is looking at it. And one thing you guys got to remember is that the bookies, for each casino, they have a certain amount of bookies that they use, and they have to cover all sports. So these bookies do not have enough time within a week or within a day to actually analyze the game of basketball or football into details. They're just giving you an outlook on the line based off of the mathematics. You feel what I'm saying? So when you're talking about basketball, it might be a little bit different when we move over to UFC, boxing, and football, and etc. So just remember that. Just keep the mathematics into your repertoire and know your math, because that's what it's going to come down to after you get the advice like Dee is giving you as far as the breakdown of the players and who's injured and what they can contribute to the game.
So Jose Yepes says about FanDuel. Hey, Jose, listen. I'm keeping it simple here, for some people that might not gamble too much, may think about gambling. There are a lot of sites like FanDuel. That's for the professional site, Vegas Insider. Like those sites, my guy over here, Mob, he can jump on those and follow those good. I'm for the lowly guy, the layman guy. So we're going to give this 1-2 punch so anybody can make money, betting just a little bit of money.
Hey, Jose, the casinos don't always lose. They don't always lose, and they don't always win. Trust and believe. It's a lot of people out here who hit the casinos on a daily basis. It's some people out here that live in Vegas that they not even allowed in the casinos because they hit them so much hard. So just understand, it's all a gamble, bro. Casinos take losses all the time. Dee actually brought up a point of view when LeBron was on the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they was down from the Wizards, and everybody had the Wizards winning, but LeBron came back and won that championship. Trust and believe, bro. They lost millions that night. Same thing on the Ronda Rousey fight versus Amanda Nunes. They lost a lot of money on that night. Cyborg versus Amanda Nunes. They lost a lot of money on that fight. So trust and believe. You can hit them. You feel what I'm saying? But you just got to keep that in mind, that you can't go in there thinking that either you're going to win or you're going to lose. You got to come in there with a good game plan. And like I said, just know your mathematics, because when it all comes down to it, it's all based off of numbers and probabilities. Same way with dice.
Yeah, exactly. Chopsticks said, I saw a movie on Netflix recently, Uncut Gems. They would bet on NBA games. He ended up getting shot in the head too. I saw that movie, pretty good. Adam Sandler. Y'all check it out. It's on Netflix. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. So that's your NBA action. Mob, I appreciate you again coming on here. I'll be calling you some more.
Salute, King. Salute, man. All y'all, good luck. If y'all do put in a bet, good luck. And like I said, I'm gonna give y'all as much knowledge as I can in this game. Because like I said, I'm in Vegas pockets right now, and I'm trying to stay in their pockets right now. I am not trying to stay on the losing end. I'm in the green. So, I don't know. Like I said, Dee know far way more about basketball than I do. I just know about the betting aspect of the game. And I'm gonna try to give y'all as much knowledge as I can on that side. But continuously to watch Speak Your Mind Sports. We're going to continuously to give you the much game as we can. And like I said, I want all y'all to hit the casinos. As much money as y'all can win from them, because like I said, they done took so much money from a lot of good people that I know. So I definitely want to see them get their head bust out here.
So guys, glad you guys met my compadre here. Just in case he's not on here with me, he's always going to be on here every time he can. But in case he's not on here with me, just know that I'm getting advice, consulting with this guy here. But that's how we're going to do it. And I'm going to keep bringing these predictions for basketball. And of course, y'all know I'm going to be bringing the live basketball commentary. And as a matter of fact, that Lakers game I was talking about, you'll see it tonight. Come hang out with Basketball Live, Lewis and Dee. We doing the Lakers game tonight. Appreciate you, Mob. Appreciate all you guys coming out. Hope you win some money out there. Y'all know how I do this thing. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. Peace.